Hello, welcome back to my channel. Antoinette here, and it is time for the April reflections for my practice and what I've been up to. So if we start as always with the moon diary from the FlickeringCauldron, the 2024 moon diary, made in the UK. And where are we? April. So straight into April. Here we go. So what am I trying to say? I'm just trying to pull my thoughts together. I haven't actually thought about this. So I was ill at the end of the month, so I haven't finished up the end of the month there in my spreads, so I haven't even crossed them out, in fact. But that will probably become apparent when we get into the looking. So as you can see, I have actually made a better attempt at completing. So when I have been completing, I have, you know, it looks like I've done pretty much most days, whereas I'd started missing out weekends. So just for a little bit of the information that comes in this beautiful diary, let's have a little look. We have Aries, traditionally the ram, and we have our fairy for the month is called Petaline. And this is the first house of Aries, fairies, that rhymes. For those who are doing the Deacon Walk, of course, we're in the first house, as per Western astrology. And so we have the element is fire, quality cardinal, ruling planet Mars. The detriment is Venus, exaltation is the Sun, and fall is Saturn. I'm trying to spit my words out here. Gemstones, we have the bloodstone or the diamond, as most of us would know for the month of April. And we have, for the mysticals among us, we have a suggested opal. The planetary stone might be jasper, and the talismanic stone would be topaz. I don't think I've ever heard of any of those, to be fair, that go with Aries or April. And the birth flower is a daisy, and I do like a good daisy. So here we go, working through. So we can see we had Mercury was in retrograde, which was, how many of you felt that one? Pluto, don't normally feel it too badly, but leading up into it, definitely a few Egypts around me. Build your own fairy garden. So this is great. So this is what I thought this one would be really nice for people who have little magical practice that want to involve grandkids, nieces and nephews, children in the house without being too woo-woo with them. So little tips there on how to build a fairy house. And I thought that was a beautiful thing to do in the garden for any kid, really, to spark their imagination without taking it too woo-woo for them. So I thought that was a lovely thing to inspire and do if you had the weather around you. And then we can see lots of things happened in the month of April, planetary wise. Now, I don't follow these religiously and I don't fully understand what they mean, but I started highlighting them because they are marked in the diary. So I believe the month of April was the busiest astrological month that we're going to have this year. So lots of stuff going on this month. We have the super new moon as well, just to help pull on everything. And then, yeah, just going through. So you can see my card today pulls are doing quite well. Love this as well for making with people how to make fairy dust. Like, such a cool, cute thing to make. So many children love a bit of glitter. So if you can get some biodegradable glitter, or even to make your own confetti in place of glitter to make your fairy dust. I thought that'd be really cool. So came down with something quite hard and heavy. And we had the pink moon as well. There we go. I was supposed to be on call, didn't make it. Off on sick leave. And the financial budget and wish lists on the bottom here. I came to a decision. I've taken off Naomi Cornuck's expanded Oracle deck because I don't work with deity, and her deck has a lot of deity in it, and I don't really work with the full turning of the wheel. I work with my own version of a wheel, so again, that doesn't quite fit with me for the Wiccan aspect of the the wheel. I'll leave it there before I start sounding like a lunatic. And then I was outrageous. like I need to slap myself something stupid. I spent a ridiculous amount of money. I think I've already said it somewhere else in a video anyway. An awful lot of decks, like some mindless spending happened this month. And yeah, I need to just make sure that that's reined in for the rest of the year, to be fair. Otherwise, I will bankrupt myself if I carry on at that speed. But needless to say, I actually had the money in the bank anyway. So just like the money burnt a hole in my pocket. And I wouldn't normally do this kind of spending. So it has to be something to do with all the energy going on in the sky. But there we go. So that's that one. So we go to my other paper journal. So my A5. Where am I? Already set up my... I'd like to be prepared, of course. So here we have April. And the word for my month was magnanimous, or, also charitable, magnanimous. Same sort of words, really interchangeable. So just some doodling. My cards. So let's reflect on the cards. So we have the King of Earth, which was... the words I pulled out of that when I did the spread a year ago was nurture those around you. Karma is everywhere, in every action, thought and word. Be the bigger person if needed. We all make mistakes. So be the big person goes back to magnanimous or charitable, being charitable. And then I have the Oracle card was card 36 from the maps, enchanted maps. You must be concise of what you are communicating to or committing to. Concise, conscious. You must be conscious of what you're committing to. Concise would be a good word there as well, let's be honest. And then we have the third card that I pulled. Oh, excuse me. Was the centered card, and I put equilibrium, focus on working with the moon phases, focus and release. Because I ended up like running under the weather, I didn't get to do as much of that as I planned to do, but we'll have a look. And then I had decks here. I have listed decks here. So for my daily deck, I was using the Aurora Tarot and Healing Spirits and Queen of the Moon. So I used all three of those daily, which is why my journal was so full. Weekly decks, I went with the Housewives Tarot and the Beltane Seasons of the Witch Oracle. Moon spreads, I've put here the Archeo Oracle, and other decks used was the Fairy Tarot and Earthly Souls and Spirits Tarot, which I don't think I brought either of those to the table today because I've got a big pile of decks on my table, so won't be going through probably every single deck, but there's enough here to keep you all busy. So here we go, working through. So my three cards: energy for the week, best outcome I can expect from the week, and how to achieve it. Here we go, magnanimous with charitable attitude. Oracle card, 2 came out, so we have primal and phoenix, and a little bit of my reflections there. And then reflections was just a 4-card straight pull, and then what I thought that was telling me overall here. Now, I did do a month ahead spread called the Foundations Technique, and this one was taken from April over at Tarot and Witchery, although I believe she's now going under her magical name, which is Hexa, and that's her YouTube channel. And so she did this spread on her channel, and while she was talking about it, I threw it down, and then because it was at the right time of the month, so I was able to get it done. And it came out quite nicely. And this is the one that I used the Fairy Tarot and the Earthly Souls and Spirits for. So it's using oracles, basically foundation techniques. I'm using oracles to build into your spreads. So these cards here are the foundation to build on into week 1, into week 2, into week 3, into week 4. And then tarot as my doing cards to build on that foundation. So hopefully that makes sense. And then we have energy, best outcome and how to achieve it, carrying on. So I've got magnanimous here towards others, workloads and self. Some doodling went on these pages quite clearly. And my oracle card was the Rowan card, which is a card of protection. And reflections again, same sort of thing, threw my cards down and then wrote down what that meant to me. We have a new moon spread, made it in, made it, done it, completed it. Very proud of myself, pat on the back. So on the new moon, America had, or parts of America have the solar eclipse as well. So I've got this one down for new moon in Aries, Western astrology, but true sidereal, it would have been Pisces. So I have made a little note there about that. So I'm aware that it's a bit different depending on what system you're using. 5 card spread. So you can see I had 2 cards out for card 1, card 2, 2 cards out for card 3. There's card 4, and card 4 was Oracle from the Archeo Oracle deck. I can't remember which tarot deck I used for that, to be honest. Haven't written it down. Okay, and then we have, so I've changed it slightly. So we have the week ahead. How should I show up? How will I make a difference this week? And how can I get prepared for this week? And then remaining kind to those who disrespect you would be a magnanimous trait to have. My oracle, reflection. I decided to do questions for my reflections. Did I show up? What difference did this make? And how was I prepared in relation to the questions I started with? Then it was like, how did that work for me? So we've got those there. So if we just have a little look at how will I make a difference? So Page of Wands, bringing the fun into the workplace, playful heart, creative thinking, ready to learn new skills. What do you have that others need to learn? And this week it's talking about mouth care. And then my question back to that was, what difference did I make this week? And I got the Knight of Coins. So I put here, it meant you had to return to doing in a methodical manner, ensuring the right boxes were ticked. So by making sure the boxes were ticked is how I was making a difference in the workplace for that week. So maybe a bit less of the fun, but however, working through with fun, but making sure I did the right thing. So it wasn't all just, fun and laughter, lightness and light. Week ahead here. So I've got the same thing. How should I show up? How can I make a difference? And how can I get prepared? For my magnanimous, in my attitude as we enter the weekend. Because I should have been on call. I didn't make it because I was just too ill to come back and do a reflection. So I left it as it is. We had the pink moon as well. I used the Archeo Oracle for this one. And I've just made a note that I'm working with the moon's seasonal energy and not the planetary associations for this one. And so therefore the pink moon, named after pink wildflowers, and usually relates to love and healing. And then creating the spread. So what is beginning? How can I harness or work with this? What do I need to do for me? How can I be more gentle with me? And what was the oracle card? But I did the whole deck with an oracle card. So just out of interest, for one, I had moon cat. So what is beginning? So I put protection and safety guidance. Number 2, how can I harness or work with this? So allow yourself to not fear the unknown, be gently led. 3, what do I need to do for me? So we've got the Wanderer, honouring what you have, honouring what you, what does that say? Should we just bring that up? Honouring what your true story of creation is. I see, it's very hard trying to read on these backgrounds when they've got doodles on them. How can I be more gentle with myself? Observer, so releasing my crap. And then the oracle card, I had the demon, so finding that balance, and basically it's not distorting reality due to my own inabilities to see the outcomes of the reality that is in front of me. So, not kidding myself really. And then we have the final week going into April, end of April into May. We have beginning of the week. I did middle of the week and end of the week. This spread was completed with Diane at Blue Crescent Tarot, basically last Sunday. So because she did a week ahead spread and I hadn't already journaled it, I decided that this is how I would do it with her. And I used the Shadow Journey Tarot and Secret Pocket Oracle for this one. So I pulled 2 cards for each. So it's about layering again, as we talked about on her YouTube that weekend. So layering, so I've done 2 tarot cards and 1 oracle card for each section of the week. And then magnanimous. So even when sick, still trying to support colleagues. So my concern was about how my colleagues were managing, which you could also refer to as ego, I suppose, in many aspects, but it wasn't. It was more my concern for them floundering, not being able to cope with the workload because there was one person down, and I understand exactly what that means to the workload for the team, because I have been there so many times myself. And then reflections, which I haven't done yet, so that'll be done tomorrow. And then for my memories for the week, girls' lunch out, went to the escape rooms, did the beanstalk room. I had coffee with Madame Cobweb. Went to Plants Galore, bought a new magnolia tree. When I say magnolia tree, a very small magnolia tree to go in my garden. An outrageous blowout on decks. I did a couple of VRs this month and had some weird visual disturbances. My nan finally came home from hospital after 6 months in hospital, almost 6 months to the day. Sweet Maximus was doing well, although today he's not quite so well. So I'm hoping that's because of his antibiotics, that he's feeling a bit off and not because his health is declining. And we had some sunshine. And then, of course, we had that nasty infection going into May. So there we go. Let's take a look at the decks. If I start with my dailies, because we have 3. So let's have a look at how my dailies would be. So the Aurora Tarot, this is the one I had on Kickstarter, continuing to absolutely adore this one and the book. Some of you remember last year I ran through the Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco just as a moon phases and took the keywords into the moon phase to see if it reflected or reacted into anything else that was happening for me. And then the Healing Spirits turned out to be the clarifying card to these. The Healing Spirits is by Gordon Smith. There's a 48 card deck from Hay House. I don't really use the book for this. It doesn't give me a lot more than what I see when I do this. So this is how my daily pulls were looking. We'll just take a few down. So what would I have? So we have the Devil, and then I have Sovereignty. And what is it about sovereignty that I need to know? Inner space and universal knowledge. So the sovereignty of self, honouring my inner space and my knowledge. For the sovereignty to myself when working with the Devil energy, as in that would normally, for me in a workspace environment, that would be about the control of the environment, controlling the workload, controlling how I'm reacting to things. So that is how this card usually, not so much manipulation. It's more about the control of the environment, the management of the side of things, and the workload when I'm in work. And then obviously we have the sovereignty and using your knowledge, being true to yourself, and knowing that you're in the right ballpark when working with this, because this can be an unsettling kind of feeling when you're working by yourself. So King of Cups with fruition and heal yourself to heal the world. So that's a really kind of finalizing suggestion, I think. And the fruition is the harvest moon as well. So if we were then looking at synchronicities, the king for me is like it's a final. He's got a sort of circle. So we've got like a lot of circles as well in there. The King of Cups is somebody who brings things into fruition or has brought things into fruition, is now at the end of the fruition stage. So he's kind of reaping what he's worked hard to get to, and healing yourself to heal the world from an emotional standpoint as well. So yeah, to me it makes sense. To you it might not. Page of Swords with faith for the worm moon, and you have power to make yourself better for faith, and Page of Swords. The Hanged One with the unexpected. When it feels right, do it. So yeah, I hope that gives you a flavour of how these were working for me. I'm kind of aware, when I sit and watch these videos and people do this, I can see that they understand the cards, but sometimes when I'm looking at them, it's not quite hitting home for me. So I do get that it could be that the images don't work for you, or the wording, you're not quite seeing how it fits together with how the card reads, because there's an unspoken level to reading cards as well, isn't there? There's like the inner knowing section that just says, yep, that makes sense. Okay, got it. So here we have the 8 of Swords with beginnings, and your path may be bumpy, but this will alter soon. So that to me makes perfect sense. The 8 of Swords is about looking at how to move forwards, how to get out of that stuck situation, how to not be locking yourself into a situation of your own creation. And then we can see beginnings, where we can see the archway, the exit out of whatever that stuckness is over here. And then that one just really kind of says it all, doesn't it? So yeah, I think as a threesome, these were quite a good working set of decks for a daily pull. And I enjoyed having 3 cards out, which I don't normally do. I normally just work with 1. But lately I've been tempted to pull a couple of oracles into my daily practice. So that was those ones. I think I did use one other deck for dailies, because for some reason I suddenly felt, I don't know, there was like a weird change 2 weeks towards the end of the month, just before I became ill, to be fair. So I did change my Aurora Tarot, or Aurora Tarot. I changed it for the Wildlands Tarot. I just fancied something completely different. So it was this one, and I only pulled 1 or 2 cards from this. So I just split the deck so you can see them together then. So I just worked with these. I didn't pull daily oracles to go with this. I just worked with these ones. So 6 of Pentacles with the 9 of Pentacles. So our Emperor with the Sun. Queen of Wands with Strength. Can you see those? Beautiful deck, absolutely beautiful deck. Very airy. So for me, this is probably a May. It's probably a May deck. It's probably a Gemini deck. So I have done a walkthrough of this one, but thoroughly beautiful. I do love the extra holographic images to this kind of ethereal, airy, lightweight pictures. Because the pictures themselves don't really tell me anything. I do need the pip-esque quality in the cards to tell me what I'm looking at. So yeah, you read it like a pip deck. So that's your 4 of Wands with your Ace of Queens. So I use that one as daily for a couple of, probably about seven days in and out of a 2-week period. So that was nice to use. Again, that one's mass market, so created by Leah Sherman. I think this is the only one there that was indie, from cocarina.com. And those 2 were mass market. That's those. New deck arrived that I will talk about. These are the backs. It came from Make Playing Cards. It's on this linen cardstock. Great deck. And it's called the Love of Spreads, and it came from Amethyst Ascensions. So if you go to her YouTube channel, and then she's got links to her page where you can then go and get this deck from Make Playing Cards. She has another one out called the Love of Oracle, or the Shades of Love Oracle rather, which I don't have. I don't know that I'll be buying that one because it's not quite my cup of tea. But this one, love this deck. So she has different cards in here. I'm not going to show the whole deck because, you know, they're all draws, but they have, I've separated them out into kind of sections. So there's one with daily draw suggestions, one with 3 card suggestions, and then she has the moons. So she has a new moon and full moon for every star sign, including a fucus, for those of you that are doing sidereal. So we've got a fucus there. So she has those ones. There we go. So yeah, so I've got the moons there because I don't shuffle this to pull out a spread. I will use it as in, I know there's spreads here, and then what I can do is I can take a picture of these, put them into my digital journal, take a picture of my spread, drop it into my digital journal, and I'm pretty much done. And that is my plan for these when I use them. So she has some other ones here. So we have abundance, contact, the flow of creation, the fifth element, soulmate spread, relationship dynamics. So those ones are kind of mystical for me. Then we have like romantic ones. So I've got soulmate, relationship, are they the one? And then we have the depression, the shadow aspects to yourself. And then we have working with deity, land spirits, ancestry, past life, remembering, dreaming, why that dream, spark of insight, the interview, moving forwards, the decision, needing to know, and then we have the kind of chakra-y ones. So I put those together as a set, and then the chakra ones, which are the series that I'm doing at the moment. Now I have this, I can snap these and just stick these straight into my journal. So I've done the energy reading. I haven't done the chakra work. That'll be probably the last one that I do. The root energy, sacral energy, and then I'm yet to do solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. Those ones I'm still to do, but those ones are there as well. So it's a really well thought out deck. As you all know, I'm just too lazy to be making up my own questions and spreads. That thing comes around for me like once a year, and I really have to be in the mood to come up with it. So that's the Love of Spreads Oracle deck that I am kind of using, because I'm using it for my chakra work. Next deck. So my week aheads. Housewives Tarot. So 3-card reading. And an oracle, which is the Beltane. So these are both mass market. Sometimes I used the book, sometimes I didn't. Just depended, because sometimes the poem made sense and sometimes it didn't, as I think most of us have found with some of these decks now. So let's put a whole section upside down. Here we go. So just for instance, 10 Pentacles, King of Swords with the 8 of Pentacles, and then we have inner power. Let it be known, no will or desire is more powerful than I embodied. The Chariot, 7 of Wands, the High Priestess, great, secret syrup, with the Green Man. I like the fact we have the High Priestess with the Green Man following on. All that I desire comes to me easily and effortlessly. I know this to be true, for I am abundant in all that I do. That's a pretty good read for me. I don't know about you guys. The Chariot, 7 of Wands, Priestess, and Green Man. That poem made sense to that whole spread. It almost clarified the entire spread. Then we have Knight of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Swords with Bonfire. So we have a fairly fiery set with all the reds there and the yellows. So it is through remembering that you will make the ritual of your existence and be reborn in mighty celebration. And upside down again. 9 of Wands, King of Cups, 5 of Pentacles with honey. The sweetness of you swells in the grace of your pole. So, oh so beautifully lethal. That's an interesting message. My stomach is growling. I must be very hungry. Page of Wands, King of Pentacles, and the World with Fae. Not everything is as it seems. Be cautious, dear one, for there is a story beneath the tale. So that was how my week aheads were looking. And I know I pulled this deck out probably last month as well and talked about it, because I think I used it for something then as well. But yeah, I do enjoy this deck. It's good fun and surprisingly intuitive for anyone who's looking at it wondering how on earth do you read that. It is surprisingly intuitive, so don't be scared of it, and great fun. It's nice to have a light-hearted fun deck to look at from an image perspective. So that was those. I used this one for the moon spread. So Nick Bantock, the Archeo Oracle, mass market again. I believe you do need the book for this one personally. It's just very nice light images with the person that's on them. So this one here is intimate, whereas this one says jester. Here's a demon. Grace. Illuminator, which makes sense, doesn't it? Lighthouse. The inventor. Magician. That image is amazing. I love that image. The metamorph. Lion. Took me a while to find the word on that one. Innocent. Fatalist. A trickster. Siren. So I'll leave that one there, but I use that one to do my moon spread. And then there are two kind of aspects in this book. So you have the image, tells about the attribute, the persona, and then you have some more information here. And then this end of the book, growing, expanding your Archeo, called Archeo Tales. So it's like a little tale of the card. And this was actually the end of the book that I was using. Instead of the pages that were down here, I was working with this end of the book for my moon spread. Just seeing how the tale of the Archeo fitted into what I was dealing with and the question that I was dealing with to work with the moon. So that's how I used this one for this moon spread. It is an interesting deck for anyone that's not familiar with it. And swiftly moving on. So we did some spreads for the deacons. I used this one. I know I've used this one for a spread anyway this month. I'm assuming it was a deacon, or it could have been oh no, this would have MG spread. So to start off my chakra run, I use this deck for that. So it's just still such a fabulously vibrant, gorgeous deck. Out of all of the decks, despite me having, what I would now consider a significant collection, this is still like such a favourite. I did use the Stretch Tarot, which again is another Make Playing Cards deck that I purchased at the very start of the year. So I used this for a couple of spreads, used it for my deacon, I used it for possibly a chakra spread actually. And I do like this deck, it's beautiful. Not to mention the backs, of course. A very big bonus. And it's Make Playing cardstock, so can't really complain about that. So therefore good quality cardstock. It's got a nice slippery, it is a slippery deck, but it should be, shouldn't it, if it's playing cards. So we have that one. And I know I've talked about this one and the keywords in detail, so that's why I'm just kind of moving through. Other decks that I've used, oh yes, I have this gorgeous bag that was gifted to me from Giselle, the Mad Witch, aka Lady Cobweb, to me, and she very kindly sent this. It's got strawberries inside it and this beautiful hand-stitched posy on the front with the polka dots and the ribbons and the beads. It's just an absolute delightful bag. So it's currently housing my Oneness Tower of Oneness. Again, I use this one for a couple of spreads, so you'll see that in a minute when I swap to the digital journal and how they go in. I don't need to do too much of this one either, I don't think, but hello Marjorie, come and join us. But yeah, so beautiful cards, very lovely, well-made deck. People do compare this to Lightseers, and yes, there is a familiarity about it. It also has its own kind of aspects though, because it sort of has it's a combination of the Lightseers, the Wandering Path, and Out of Hand tarot for me, and maybe the Outdoors tarot. Is that the other one with some of its aspects? But the colour palette's just gorgeous. The cardstock is chef's kiss. The ASMR sound for shuffling, perfect. And it has this very delicate apricot edging. And some of the cards are just beautifully made, like the Five of Pentacles with the holes in the socks, no shoes on the feet. We just have a stained glass image, kind of beamed down onto the floor. And you can see it snowing. So, Nine of Cups, golden egg. So, yeah. And I know that I've passed it already. Was it the Ten of Cups with the whales? The orca family, and that's a huge favourite as well. The Hermit. So yeah, there we go. So we have Tower of Oneness. That one did a number of spreads. Can't remember if it was 2 or 3 spreads with this one. Oh, it's going to be a bit longer. Sorry guys, it's not going to be half an hour. Poe Tarot came out to play for a spread. Here. Oh, I've left the cards on top in case I wanted to come back to them, so I will keep those ones. So this one it's got the words on the back, and the book then tells you what poem or reference or text that they come from, so you can look up the text to remind yourself. And it's just surprised me. It's a deck that surprised me as to how well it works, because I wasn't sure. When you have references and quotes and things on them, I'm like, I don't know much about Edgar Allan's actual works other than the random poems that you hear here and there. I mean, The Raven being the most famous one, mostly because it was in a programme that I was watching. That's where most of my Edgar Allan Poe knowledge comes from. But that was actually a cult following, and there's lots of darkness to it as well, so perhaps not quite the thoughts behind this deck, but there we are. So Edgar Allan Poe. I know there's a coloured version of this. It's not one that I will be getting. I'm actually smitten with this one, so this will be my only Poe tarot. Zombie Tarot, I use that one definitely for a couple of spreads. I can't remember if I actually did this one last month though. It might have been last month. This might have been the start of the Deacons, which would have been the end of last month. So I might be repeating myself, which is why I'm not going to spend too much time again on this one. But surprisingly easy to read deck. Surprisingly for any time of the year. Not just for high days and Halloween. So that's the mass market Zombie Tarot, which comes in the same kind of packaging as the Housewives Tarot. And is it the same creator? I think it might be the same creator, which might be why they're boxed similarly. Just have to be careful when I put this away, because it doesn't quite fit in the lid, so I don't want to damage a card when I put it away, but it's a big box. I also had the Global Infusion Tarot out. Oops. Everywhere. Probably should have got that on pause while I was picking them up, because we are eating into valuable time now. So this one Has playing card references on it. It's a stunning, stunning deck. Look at these. I know I've talked about it. I've got a walkthrough of this one. It's not one that I pull out very often, but it definitely needed to come out. So it is by Wayne Rodney. I do recommend this one. Again, it's a mass market, and I don't see a lot of people talk about it. But look, 5 of Wands. 5 of Pentacles. So the desperation, a kind of disassociation with this card, as opposed to your standard 5 of Pentacles. Did I call it once? 5 Pentacles. So this is more about giving up hope, turning your back on it, because you've kind of, you've hit rock bottom. You can't see a way out. You really have like a disassociation to what's going on now, and you've turned your back away from it. And you've got like a little bird there trying to like tap you on the shoulder. So it does give you another way of looking at your cards as well. I love the use of the crystals in this deck. So then we have the Global Fusion Tarot. As I said, highly recommend this one. It's on gorgeous cardstock. It's got that make playing card stock feel to it. The glossier, slightly glossier version. So hence the reason I went all over the floor, slips everywhere. And then I did do a walkthrough very recently of a new deck and a pairing. And that was the Sacred Revolution Oracle, which I then used to do one of my sacral chakra readings. So it's a circular deck, these gorgeous sides and neon. And I put this one with the Tantric Dakini Oracle, which I did the pairing of when I did the walkthrough of this. I paired it. So, as I said, I've written on these. So I've got some meanings on them. I haven't finished. I will write all the way around the cards actually to make these, mine. But this clarified this, to be honest, is what happened. Just trying to work out what way around it goes. That way. So when I did this for my sacral chakra, I put this down to answer the question and this to clarify this. So what is it about this that I need to know? And then this clarified them. And it was actually quite a deep reading, as pointed out by one of the people who commented on the reading. But yeah, it was, very raw and honest. Reading done in real time with you guys as we were watching. So that's the only time I've worked with this deck. I do need the book to understand this deck, to be honest. And that's how I'm using it. So, but I mean, so I'd need to know the base meaning of this. So I'd have to understand what the book said about this as a base meaning, and then what this is telling me about this. So at the moment it's talking about balance from abundance. So not having preconceptions, being open-minded, that material abundance, fortune's changing, fundamental or fulfillment of self with the abundance for this card. And then that relating to that sort of makes sense with the peacocks there, because peacocks I associate with kind of abundance and richness, because wealthy people that I know usually have peacocks instead of guard dogs roaming their properties, as you do. A couple of the estates in Saltash used to have that. And then we have like this whole like expanse of the world from a balance and preconceptions, and then we have the world below. So there's lots of things in there that I might link to that, but I'd still want to know what the underlying figure is doing, why I've got like the spider with the beams shooting out of it, and this lady kind of there as well. And whatever this is, it's like an eye, but it's also like a worm with an eye in it. So yeah, so there we go. That was my wrap up for the month of April and the multitude of decks that I played with. I think that's probably, and there were more, as I said, there were another 2 decks I haven't even brought down here today. So yeah, I think that's possibly one of my biggest months of deck playing. And I was about to leave you, but I need to show you my digital journal if you've got time. So if at this point you'll know about my digital journal, stay and I will pop it on the desk for you. I just need to unlock it. Get my journals open. So starting with the Deacon Walk, if we start there, bring you down again. So for the Deacon Walk, Aries 2 really kicked off the month of April. So I put here 1st of April to 10th of April. So the world around me is how I'm doing it. The weather, the world around me, as in plants, what I've done specifically in those 10 days with relation to the world around me, as opposed to just, you know, everyday mundane things, as in going out, doing shopping. Like, have I been shopping? Have I picked certain plants? Have I been, you know, gone out on a walk or an adventure walk, or anything that's kind of prompted me to do something a bit different? Music that I was listening to. And then there's my spread. So it's the Tarot of Oneness that I used for this one and laid it out. So 2 cards, 3 cards came out for this question, 2 cards here and 2 cards here. It should have just been a standard 4-card spread. So there we have card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, card 5, and these ones flew jumpers while I was doing my spread. And then we have Aries 3. So again, I've got my information there that I put down, and got my iPod out to listen to for this one. Not really interested in cooking, so food had to be wholesome, comforting, and warm, and easy to attain. Okay, you can probably hear Max grooming himself now. I do apologise, I can't stop him. Aries 3, there we have the stretch tarot that I've used, and those of you who follow me know that this is Marlene Theresa's spreads that she shared with us last year as she did this whole journey, and I've carried on with them. And then we have Taurus 1, which I've done. Have I done Taurus 2? I don't think I have. We'll have a look. So the world around me for the Deacon. I have actually put my rough thoughts on here, and then there's the fusion tarot that I used. This was quite a big sort of maze spread there, so I have put it on here to show. And then Taurus 2 is waiting to be done, so I'll probably do that one in the next few days before we move into Taurus 3. So we have that one, and then the vintage journal from Amethyst Ascension. Also shout out to, so I did VRs. I did a VR to Cosmic Creepers, Oracle Decks with Attitude. I did a VR to Lisa and Peggy, 25 more wacky questions, and also started the Chakra series VRs back to Amethyst Ascension because she's been sharing hers. And music-wise, so I've got here classical music, Pure Moods album for the most part. Films I watched a lot. So Catherine, called Birdie. That was actually a really good film. I recommend anyone to watch that. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. That's hilarious. I watched that for the 2nd or 3rd time. It was a book that I grew up with, so it's just amusing. I think it's amusing. Rachel McAdams does a really good job of being a parent in that one. I watched The Blitz. That was a really good film. Ghostbusters 2021 Afterlife. I actually watched that twice. That one was available on BBC iPlayer in April, and it probably still is for May for anyone that's in the UK and wants to watch it. It is funny, so I do recommend. And it's not the girls' Ghostbusters, it's a follow-up. So it's, yeah, how many Ghostbusters were there? 3. So it's like a follow-up from the original Ghostbusters. And there's another one just coming out in the cinema now, I think. So keep your eyes peeled. How to Date Billy Walsh, that was quite funny. The Way We Were, Mary Shelley, Army of One, Nicolas Cage. That was, I think that's based on a true story, to be quite frank with you. But it had its moments. The Wedding Trip, that was quite good. What's Your Number? That was very funny. and the Avengers Grimm. So that one was entertaining. Watched a fair few channels. So Eileen Eugene's had a few insight videos out. We have Forest Moon Maiden. She's changed her name from Faye. That's Cara, who created the Persephone deck. Tarot Magpie. If I wrote Christmas Chronicles, I don't think it's supposed to say Christmas Chronicles. Krista's Chronicles, I think that's supposed to say. Mad Witch, Hermit's Cave, Soot and Salt, Tarot Shrink, A Year and a Day. They've had some quite interesting stuff out that I've been watching. Garden Goddess, Avalon Cameron. Kaylee's Sunflower did a really nice walkthrough. Project Refined Life, Emily's Witchcraft and Tarot, Marlene Theresa, as you know, Polish Folk Witch, Tammy Pie, Tarot Geek, Amethyst Ascension, of course, Highly Sensitive Tarot, Julia. We have Feeding My Soul, Tarot and Witchery, Hexa or April, depending on how you know her. Candy at the Art Altar, Miss Candy's second channel. Tarot is Magic, Green Eyed Tarot. Miss Kulala's Mystical Musings, Astaria Zen, Peggy and Lisa, of course, Musings by Masha, Project Refined Life, and Patsy's Tarot, to name a few of the channels that I've been watching. They're just random videos that I've dipped in and out of on those channels, so nothing in specifics that I can talk about, just stuff that I've been viewing. So I did the Dragon Pathworking Tarot spread. I quite liked doing it this way because I have laid my cards over the spread where it suggests putting the positioning of the cards, so I've done it this way around instead. So we have the questions there, and I've just put my cards down, and this one I didn't feel I needed to write up. There's a Mercury retrograde spread here from Ehony, which I did, and that was my Poe Tarot, which I've laid up here. Haven't written about it. Then I had my energy readings spread, starting the chakra series with Amethyst Ascension. There's my Deviant Moon deck, and I have actually written in my feelings about this one and my kind of afterthoughts. Then we have the root energy chakra spread, so that was using the Stretch Tarot, and of course I've done these as separate videos, which is why I feel like I've talked about these forever and a day. And then this one, so my sacral chakra spread, where I use the two decks, the Revolution, Sacred Revolution, and the Tantric Takini, and sort of laid them up so you can see the two cards going with each other. More importantly, if I zoom into that, I can read the writing around it, so I know what it says. And I think that's it. Yeah, I end there. I've basically got a couple of pages ready to go in May. Haven't done my May cover page yet. It's waiting. And then I have waiting to go a VR, 2 Cosmic Creepers. I think this is the Let's Talk Tarot. Hashtag Let's Be Tarot Friends. I've got my answers there ready to go. I've got a deck for that, one that I watched on Tarot Magpie. So it's ready. I've got the questions there, ready to put my answers in and my decks. And then I've got the chakra spreads, as I've showed you, preset, ready to go. I've just inserted the pages so that I can come back to them. And then a few pages pre-decorated, waiting to be added to. So there we go. I think that's it. We'll stop there before we hit the 60-minute mark. Thank you for watching. I hope you've had something to take away from this, even if it wasn't just the fact that I'm a crazy person using as many decks as possible in as many different ways as I can. But I hope that, even if you have these decks, maybe you found some other way that you might choose to work with them. Or if it's a deck that you thought that you couldn't use, you now understand that you absolutely 100% can use. And I thank you for your time and spending it with me. Until the next one, take care. Bye-bye.